Today we're going to be talking about this pen that I'm quite excited about. This is the Kaweco Sport, but this is the classic Sport, and this is the piston filler. See the little metal ring there? Yeah. It fills with a piston. Now, a while ago I reviewed the Kaweco Al Sport, which is their aluminum sport version with a piston. Came in a lovely little tin. This is the plastic model, and it's very light, but it fills with a piston and it has some cool features, so we should talk about this. This pen was lent to me by Joost Appelboom, appelboom.com. Remember, you can get a 10% discount there if you click the banner on my website. So if you want one of these, 10% is 10% in it. And these are the times that we need to save money, because it's December when I'm recording this. Everybody's buying gifts, so if you need a gift, go there. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample and I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Alright, here we go with the Kaweco Sport. Classic Sport in black, the piston filler. Comes in this cardboard tube, which I like a lot. I've said this in the context of B.R.E, for example. I really like packaging materials that you can recycle. Don't add to more garbage. So I like it. It also has kind of a vintage look to me. Nice design of the logo and some explanation of the pen in German and in English. Inside, a satisfying pop as you open it up. Inside is the little sleeve the pen came in, and then there is neatly, rubber banded with some black rubber bands. Certificate of authenticity, filling instructions, all that sort of stuff. As well as this, which is a Kaweco sticker for the people who love stickers. And here we have the pen. Now let me zoom in. I know you can see the tripod legs. I just kicked the tripod too, or actually punched it, but that's okay. Let's zoom in a bit so that it's comfortable. You can actually see some detail. Here we have the two pens. So, Kaweco Sport. This is a regular Kaweco Sport, so not the piston filler. And as you can see, it's one-to-one in size. So there we go. Next to Pilot Metropolitan, it's a pocket pen. It's meant to be a pocket pen, right? Note how shiny that material is, because this black it's something. It's very, very reflective. So we have Kaweco Sport here, and it's a €74 pen excluding tax. It's extremely light. The pen weighs 10 grams. It's made of a, I think, did they actually call it? No, they didn't have the audacity to call it precious plastic, which I appreciate. They just say high quality plastic. So I mean, okay, that's clear. I don't know what precious plastic is, but I do know what high quality plastic is. 1.2 milliliter ink capacity, and that's it. So let's look at the parts of this pen. I have always loved the finial. Sorry, took me a second to get to the word. On top of the cap. Beautiful vintage logo, Kaweco, Kaweco and Company. So that's neat. We have again Kaweco Sport on the cap, and then we have this gold colored band which tapers down a little bit, and then you have a blind cap. So this is not a piston turning knob. It's a blind cap that comes off, and then you have this turning knob for the actual piston. Nice eye for detail. I think that the Kaweco logo is again there as a finial on that turning knob. That is high quality stuff, because often, I mean, how easy would it be to just leave that to be a plastic piece? I really like that eye for detail. I also really like blind caps for a reason that I'll come to in likes and dislikes. Okay, then we have the pen. Now, if you're not familiar with a Kaweco Sport, the proportions are very interesting, right? The cap is almost as big as the pen, and that's because these pens are made to be posted. So you're not really supposed to use them unposted, although you can. For me, they're too small, but I know people who can use them that way. You post it, and then you have a full-size pen. Very nice, fits in a pen. Fits in a pants pocket or trousers, if you me. And I wouldn't carry the pen that way, but you can. Now I know it is a little difficult to see, but there is an ink window. I'll hold it up when I talk about likes and dislikes. You can see it a little bit. There's an ink window. I'm using a fairly dark washable blue ink, so it's hard to see, but I think you can make it out a little bit. It's there, so that's nice. Now we have some threads, and we have an hourglass shaped section, and then we have the nib. It's just a steel nib. It looks like it's gold plated. This is a broad. It has the Kaweco logo on it again, and then there is the feed, which also has the Kaweco logo. I know it's a lot of logos, but I think that's careful eye for detail, and it's details that set companies apart. So I really like that. There's no clip, but you can purchase separate clips for the cap that you can just slip on if you really want a clip for your pen. Okay, I think I have talked about everything I should talk about, so let's see how the pen writes. I'm sorry I didn't have the paper at the ready. I thought I did, but I did not. Okay. Classic, sport. This is the piston filler. If you don't mind, I won't write it all out to not bore you to death. And the ink is, why do I keep messing up the name? Elder Graph, which I couldn't fit. I'm sorry, blue. It's a nice washable blue. What a lovely nib. It's very smooth. Really nice. It's pretty wet too, which I like a lot. I know I don't usually do this at this stage, but pretty wet. Fast writing. Keeps up very, very well. Well, wetness we've already done. It is, oops, that was a little skip. It could have been me. I was using very light pressure to kind of show off the natural line variation. Often with broad nibs, you get a slight stubbiness to their grind. Sorry, that's kind of the same to here. You notice that the side strokes are a little narrower than the down strokes, right? And this is in proper orientation, no pressure applied. Again, that's hence the skip, but try to make sure that I don't accidentally put pressure on it. You can tell, and that's not necessarily an issue, it's just the way it is. Line variation is always very, very careful. It's not a flex nib, it's not advertised as such. If you really want to, you can squeeze out some line variation. I wouldn't do it. Again, it's not a flex nib, but people always want to see everything. Reverse writing, for those of you who enjoy such a thing. Possible, bit sharper for sure, but you take this broad to a nice fine, and it's still relatively smooth. I've seen way worse, especially with light pressure. It actually works very well. So here we have it. Nice pen. Refined, distinguished, piston filled. I like that too. The black and gold, I know that people have strong feelings about that. I think it's a classic combination. So let's talk about some likes and dislikes. What do I like? And what do I not like about this pen, the Kaweco Classic Sport Piston Filler? There's a couple of things I really like. Black and gold, it's a classic combination. I like it. Some people don't. I do like it. It's not the most vivid necessarily, but it's a classic. And just like eggs with truffle, it works. So there we go. It's a love. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke. But it's true. Eggs and truffle go really well together. Classic combination. So is black and gold. Now, this works very well. In my mind, I like that. Fantastic nib. I have to give it to them. I have used a lot of broad Kaweco nibs that were over polished. This is a broad nib and it is fantastic. Smooth, wet, delicious, absolute pleasure to use. So kudos on that. I really like that it has an ink window. Ink windows make a difference, and with such a dark ink, I know it's a little hard to see, but you can definitely tell there is a little bit of air bubble in there. love it. Often with piston fillers, if an ink window is absent, you just have no way of knowing how much ink you have left, and I really, really dislike that. With a converter fill pen, it's very easy. Unscrew the barrel, have a quick look, but here you can see it. I like it. I think it works very well. I also, overall, I've reviewed so many Kaweco sports over the years, in whether they were AL Sport or regular sports. In fact, it was one of the first pens I actually bought, and so the model in my mind works. It's simple. Kaweco knows what it's doing. It's collectible. They have so many finishes and then limited editions. They're relatively affordable. I think it's a cool brand in that regard. And this model works. It's small, but even unposted, I could write with it for a couple words. Post it, you have something that's a comfortable size. I like it. Another thing that I like they did is there's a blind cap. So there is no accidents where you post the pen, because especially in piston fillers that post, if they don't have a blind cap, but the end is a turning knob, more than once I have kind of forgotten about that, posted a pen, filled with the cap, and ink comes out. It's user error. I'm the first to admit it, but it's nice. On this pen, it cannot happen, because even if you fiddle with that cap, nothing happens, because at worst, you're just unscrewing the blind cap, just like that, and there's no issue. And you can screw it back on, nothing is lost, nothing gets screwed up, there's no ink everywhere. So I really like that. Final thing I quite like is the price, 74 euros. I know there are cheaper pens out there, but you get, if they all write like this, a beautiful writer with a piston filler, 1.2 milliliters of ink. I think that's pretty good. It's a smaller pen, so it's never going to be a 5 milliliter capacity, but most pens are like this. Don't forget, the Montblanc 149 doesn't have much bigger capacity than that. It's also about that. So I know that's surprising to a lot of people, but it's there. So piston fill is cool, and you don't pay an awful lot. Yes, I know these pens are about 3 times as expensive as the regular cartridge converter filled pens, the same model, I mean, but it is a piston filler. Right? I mean, I think it's fair you pay a little bit more. Sure. Maybe a lot more, but still. 74 euros for a fountain pen is not that bad. And I think it's a reasonably fair price. Things I don't like so much. There really are 2 things. The threads I find a little sharp. And with such a small section, there's no way for me to not feel them. So that was one issue that I had. The other issue is very personal, and if you have one of these pens, I would love to hear your opinion on it. It's very light. The pen comes in at 10 grams, which I can tell you now, if I put this on my hand, I'm not exaggerating when I say I barely feel it's there. And some people like heavier pens. I am one of those people within reason. I used to like the really heavy pens, and I've tried some that was, for example, Chinese, the Dragon pens, all metal, that weighed 100 grams. It's fun for a bit, but then it gets tiring on your hand. This will not wear out your hand, so if you do a lot of writing, you like a really light pen, this is absolutely great. I just like to have a little bit more feeling to it, feeling that I'm holding a pen. And this does not deliver on that. But that's very idiosyncratic. Again, some people love lighter pens. I've communicated with people who have issues with their wrists or their hands. They really love light pens. They should absolutely try this out. The only thing being, it's very small. So if you have arthritis or something and you like a girthier pen, this is not for you. But overall, it's nice. It's shiny. It's polished. It looks good. I think there's a lot to be said for this pen. I think it's really nice. So a great job for Kaweco as far as I'm concerned. I hope this was useful. A kind thank you to Joost for lending me the pen. I appreciate it, and I'll gladly see you later.